Hello, everybody. This is Reverend Sue Frederick, and congratulations on getting to the 5th module of my Sacred Numerology class, because now you have covered and learned so much that will help you understand how to use numbers as a tool. So in the first module, we connected to numerology by talking about the history of numbers and Pythagoras and the meaning of the numbers, how each number has a light side and a challenge side, a gift and a challenge. And we talked about the 3 ways to calculate the birth path. And that's a very unique technique specifically to me, because the master soul journey can only really be understood and seen in a person's chart if you add the birth path all 3 ways, and then adding the astrology piece to that to get the vibration, the feeling of how they'll express their path in this lifetime. And then the second module, we talked about the very fun and helpful understanding of soul agreements, how when you work with somebody else's birth path and your birth path, you can understand what you two agreed to teach each other and to learn from each other before this lifetime even began. That is so helpful, especially if it's a departed loved one and you want to understand why they've left early. This is where numerology started for me, was when my young husband died, and I wanted to understand why, and was that a soul agreement, and what was I supposed to be learning from that? Well, these numbers will help you understand that. Also in that module, we covered the pinnacle year lessons and the name number, which are so fun and so interesting to help you on your journey. In module 3, we covered probably my favorite piece of numerology, the personal year cycles and the Saturn returns, and how that information helps you have your own soul review of your life journey while you're still here on Earth. That is such a helpful insight to have. So I encourage all of you to go back and review those modules and do the workbook and calculate all of those things to help you understand your own journey here, your challenges and your gifts and your soul's purpose. And then in module 4, I shared with you my very powerful and unique technique of using numerology to connect to our spirit guides for help and guidance, and also to connect to our departed loved ones, to call them in to help us, to heal us, to lift us up, and how we can use numerology to help us with that. So I really hope you've also practiced that in the 4th module. And now in this 5th module, we're tying it all together, and I'm addressing some of the questions that I've received over the years whenever I'm teaching this. And I've taught it at Kripalu and Omega and all these big retreat centers and lots of unity churches. And then in my own private business, you can always learn about my classes on SueFrederick.com, my website. And I'm always teaching sacred numerology there. And the advantage of a live course is that you do get to ask me questions in the moment, on the spot, and I can answer and help you. So today I'm calling up some of those questions I've received over the years, because they'll probably come up for you as you study all these modules. So number 1 question is, hey, but my doctor scheduled my daughter's birth through a cesarean. He told me that we would do it on this certain date. So how can her birth date really be showing up as her true path? Love that question, because the truth is, our souls are in charge of this physical world. Please, please believe this. Please try to open your heart and soul to the knowingness of this truth. And what this means is, even if the child came early or late or had a cesarean, the soul of that child was moving the doctor's calendar to show the doctor when they needed to come in, even if the conscious mind of the doctor doesn't know that and the conscious mind doesn't understand that. The soul of the child picks the exact moment of birth and the exact exit point that they will take from this lifetime. I'm not talking about the human mind, the conscious mind. No, we don't know these things in our conscious mind unless we're very tuned into our intuition and our higher self. And then we can know some of it. But the way this universe works is there are some divine mysteries that we don't want to know here because they will pull us and confuse us and keep us from accomplishing our soul mission. And I even do soul regression therapy sessions with clients where I take them back to connect to their departed in the divine realms and their guides, and then to drop into a helpful lifetime. But I always ask that we only be seen and shown the moments of our soul's journey that will help us live our best life here today, because I don't think we should ever go back and focus on past traumas in other lives, even past traumas in this life, because we are meant to learn from them and move forward, not to be focused on the pain of that. Although, yes, we have to feel our pain in the human realm. I'm not saying that we aren't supposed to feel it. We have to feel it to heal it. But then we're here to keep moving forward by staying open to, what am I learning from this trauma, from this pain, or from this past lifetime pain that is teaching me and helping me now to move forward as my highest and greatest self. Okay, so another question I often get that I also love is somebody will say, hey, so does that mean that everybody in the world who shares my exact day and month and year of birth is exactly the same as me? Heck no. Because you are a soul on a journey. You're not some random event or random coincidence in the universe. You are a unique soul. Every person, every human here is a unique soul who's been traveling on a journey of evolution, who has lived in the divine realms and been birthed into consciousness there, and then chosen in their own process of learning to say, wow, I really want to go to that heavy, dense earth realm in order to evolve and grow in many specific ways that will be illuminated in my numerology, my astrology, all these other sacred tools that we have here. And the soul says, I will go in there to learn specifically some pieces that my soul needs to work on and expand, so that eventually when I'm ready, I can be one of the helpers. I can be one of the healers, because the human journey is so difficult and dense. So many souls go through the cycle of incarnation, knowing that the purpose of it is to become one of the healer helpers, one of the most highly evolved souls in the divine, maybe to work in the Council of Elders, in the Library of Wisdom, as a soul guide, a spirit guide for whatever incarnations a soul may take. So you're on a mission, and you are unique to all of your incarnations, all of your studies in the divine realms, all of your gifts and challenges, but they can be revealed through birth path, numerology, and astrology, and other tools that are here, even tarot. Whenever these sacred tools are used for highest good and with loving consciousness, they can always help us understand our journeys here in a way that we can be more productive and really move forward to help transform humanity into the higher consciousness on earth that we have already in place in the divine realms. So no, What's interesting, though, is that somebody with your exact same birth date, you will listen to their story if you ever run into them, if it's the day, month, and year of your same birth date, and you will listen to them and you will go, wow, even though all the events are different, all the relationships are different, I can really see how our soul was urging us in similar ways all along the journey. And that is so true and so insightful. And think of it this way, we're all hanging out in the divine realms, and some of us are in the angelic realm. Some of them are in the learning realm of souls that I call the library of wisdom. Some of us are meeting with the council of elders and talking about the evolution of consciousness on Earth and in other galaxies as well, and asking, how can I help? And because when all of consciousness is evolved to the highest vibration, we all win. We all get to live in heaven on earth. And so we sign up. We go, they're really struggling down there on planet Earth right now. They're lost in a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of negativity. And so the souls get down there in that dense realm and they forget who they are. And so I want to go in as one of those souls who will wake up while I'm on the earth realm and then learn and remember that I'm a divine being on a journey and be able to help and heal others. That's our intention. And so we sign up for it like a spiritual Navy SEAL. We say, okay, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do it. And I swear I'm going to wake up while I'm down there and remember that I'm more than a physical being on a physical journey. And so our birth path reflects that soul intention. So in my soul intention, I have a memory of being between lifetimes and saying, I'm just not developing as fast in my journeys as the rest of my soul group. And I want to be as evolved as them. I want to keep up with them. So I'm going to sign up for a very intense life of lots of learning and growth. And I'm going to wake up down there because then I'll really evolve and become a healer and a helper. And then when I cross back into the divine, my beloveds will be proud of me. I will be proud of me. My spirit guides will say, yeah, well done. And then they'll put me to work and I'll be able to help all of consciousness evolve. And so we drop in, and grief is our greatest teacher here on earth, because you can sleep through an entire lifetime just focused on how am I going to make a living? How am I going to be a happy human being in the physical world? What things am I going to accomplish and strive for in this competitive physical world? And suddenly we lose a loved one. And that could be while you're a child growing up. You could lose a sibling or a parent, or when you get out in the world on your own, you could lose a partner. The way I lost my husband, Paul, when I was 29, and then my best girlfriend, Chrissy, the year later, and Marv and Jane, and on and on. And I agreed to those with my beloved posse because those early exits served them for different reasons that sometimes we don't even need to understand while we're here on earth. But Paul and Chrissy have told me why they chose those early exits for their soul growth. But I signed up to go through it with them because that pain of watching those beautiful souls, the best people I knew on earth, Paul and Chrissy and my dad and Marv and Jane, the best people I ever knew are the ones who went through terrible illnesses and suffering and early exits. And so I was lost when that happened, because you can't just focus on your career and your money and your physical achievements when you have just watched the people you love most in the world suffer and struggle and then die, move on to the divine realms long before they even reach middle age. Because then you're going to start going, wait a minute, why do I feel their spirits? Why are they coming back to me? Where do they live? Why am I here? Why is there suffering? Those are such beautiful questions because they get you to the spiritual truth answers that help us wake up here and live our best lives. So if you're asking those questions today, if you're struggling to find meaningful work, or if you're struggling to recover from the loss of a powerful beloved being, you've made a soul agreement with them and they've left early and you're brokenhearted, or if you're having your own health challenges and you want to understand why you're going through this, or why you feel you can't fit into the physical world and it makes no sense to you, well, that means you're a highly evolved soul and you dropped in here on purpose, and you have great work to do when you open up to it. So let the numbers help you with all of that. Let numerology remind you of who you are and what your soul agreements are and where you are in your cycles of learning, your pinnacles, what your name number vibrates out to the world, what your personal year cycles reveal about all of your growth points in this life. Use numerology to help you with all of that. And if you have another skeptical question like that to ask me, then please email me, visit my website, SueFrederick.com, because I love answering these questions. Another good question I get is, well, what about twins? Because a client will say, you know, I have a twin born exactly on my same birth date and time and everything, and they're totally different from me. Well, I love working with twin clients, and I've had so many of them in my business over the decades. And it's so fascinating because they both come in with the same birth date and the same personal year cycles that'll always be happening at the same times, the same Saturn returns, the same vibration. And yet their soul agreement that they made before the lifetime began is often that one of them will take the learning journey this way and one of them will take it this way, and they'll meet up at the end, either in this lifetime or after this lifetime, and they will, when they get to meet up again, get to share their knowledge about what they learned in that path. And it's kind of like an accelerated growth lifetime for each twin. So it's like two souls going, hey, let's share the journey down there, and we will grow and struggle and be in tune with each other, but maybe take very different paths. And as we do that, then we'll eventually get together and share our knowledge and our wisdom and both learn from both of our journeys. Those are eager, very old souls that really want to accelerate their soul growth. And so you can look at it that way. And if your twin is making different choices from you, maybe choices you have a judgment about, then I want you to see them in your meditation as the beautiful soul that they are, perfect and filled with love, and say, I see you on your journey. I understand you're just taking a different way to get through our path, and that we're both doing it to help each other's growth, not to hurt each other. And I will also say from my own journey, when I was younger, when I left home at 17, I did so many unconventional things because my soul was nudging me to learn. And I was one of the hippies of 1969, 1970, did a VW van trip across America. You know, just if you want to read my story, I have a memoir out called Water Oak, The Happiness of Longing, and you'll be amazed that I lived and made choices that I made in my early 20s, or even before my 20s, when I was trying to find my way in the world. You cannot judge people for those choices, because each soul is learning exactly what they came to learn, even if it looks wrong to the outside world. And I will even say that when you look at someone's journey who's struggled with addictions, rather than saying, oh, they had the illness of addiction, blah, 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 all that labeling stuff, how about we say They were and are a highly evolved soul, and they struggled to be in the earth realm because they had a memory of the divine realms where everything is loving and easy and light filled. And when they first took a drug or a drink, it lifted them back into that expanded consciousness. And so they believed that was kind of calling them back to the divine realms. And that's then the body picked up its own chemical vibration and kept them in that addiction cycle. But it was really their soul seeking a connection to God, a connection to higher consciousness. And so even if they crossed over while they were still in that addiction state, the human mind cannot understand that journey until we cross over and we see them again, and we get to sit with them in the divine realms and go, wow, tell me what you learned in that. And you get to hear it from their point of view, from what they learned. Sometimes we learn as much from being in the, what you might call the bottom layer of life, of suffering, of struggling, of addiction. We learn as much from that sometimes as we do when we're in the higher journey of seeking spiritual wisdom. I'll also say that sometimes people call themselves religious teachers or spiritual teachers, and it's not pure knowledge from the highest realms. It's more about running a big religion that relies on a certain amount of people to keep it supported and going. And the way you'll know if that's not someone you should be following is if it makes you feel afraid or unworthy in any way, then it is dogma and doctrine that is not true for your soul's journey, because you are a divine being and God is an all-loving consciousness. Only love runs this universe. There is no punishing God. There is no hell. There are no mortal sins that send us to burn in hell forever. There are simply God consciousness, creating consciousness, creating these realities, these realms, and us agreeing to all be part of the spiritual Navy SEALs to help grow and evolve consciousness in ways that we may not be able to understand down here. But as soon as we leave the physical body, we re-emerge with that higher wisdom, and we see the purpose of all of it. And we remember that God is in us. We are part of God, and that there is never, ever anything unforgivable here on earth. There are only souls on a journey of learning, and we help each other by love and compassion and healing acts rather than judgment and condemnation. So walk away from any tradition that makes you feel judged or condemned or less than. God is a loving presence in all of us and running this universe. And on that note, I thank you for following this sacred numerology course with me. The numbers are so amazing when we let them teach us and speak to us and lift us into our higher knowledge. And my website is SueFrederick.com. I'd love to work with you in a session or a class, or any way that maybe my books could help you or my videos. Please use it, because we're all on the same team of evolving consciousness. Thank you so much, my beloveds. This is Reverend Sue Frederick. Thank you.